Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to talk about something that seems to have been kind of plaguing the gaming world ever since even I was a kid and I first started playing video games, but that's the fact that some people think that games cannot coexist with other games, especially in the same genre. So when I was young and I was a kid and went to, elementary school, middle school, whatever, the huge thing was Call of Duty versus Halo. You had to pick a side, and if you didn't pick a side, it seems like everybody made fun of you and called you Switzerland or whatever. Me personally, I played both games. I mean, back then and now, first-person shooters are and was my favorite genre of games. So of course I was going to play both because they both offer something completely different. I mean, Halo felt more like a arena shooter, although I didn't really know what arena shooters were back then. They had higher time to kill. The whole space theme was completely different than Call of Duty and the Modern Warfare games and stuff like that, having the military kind of modern feel to them, had kind of more of a focus on progression and grinding out weapons and camos and stuff like that. So they both played completely different, but there was a lot of overlap in it. But it seems like everybody was like, no, you gotta pick one. Only one can be the good first-person shooter thing. You can't play both, otherwise you're a traitor, and all this stupid stuff. And we were stupid kids, so that's gonna be my excuse. But I still see people on the internet, grown adults, that are arguing and fighting about this as if both can't exist. It's a little ridiculous. And then, when I got a little older and I was still a stupid kid, maybe a little less of a stupid kid or more stupid, I don't know. I was still a stupid kid though, but I got into PC gaming. That's when I got introduced to MOBAs. And oh boy, let me tell you, MOBAs are even worse because, with first-person shooters, especially on console when you're younger, you can kind of switch between them. I mean, obviously, your skill is not going to carry over perfectly instantaneously the second you switch from, say, Modern Warfare to, Halo 2 or 3 or something, but I mean, there's a lot of overlap. They're both first-person shooters and stuff like that, and that's there to an extent in MOBAs, but for the most part, when you pick a MOBA, you're there for life. I mean, you might, down the line, be like, okay, I'm going to stop playing League of Legends, I'm going to try this Dota game, because I feel like I've hit a ceiling in League of Legends, or possibly you're like, it's too hardcore for me. I want to go to a more friendly game, League of Legends. And that could be, what you're doing. But for the most part, when you play a MOBA, you stick to that MOBA and you don't really stray from it. And I think that's one of the main reasons why there's even more animosity with this in people thinking that there can only be one MOBA in the genre. And the funny thing is Dota and League of Legends in particular, they're catering to completely different audiences. League of Legends has always just been trying to get the most amount of players and have their game be new player accessible and have a lot of tools to help people learn and have, characters and stuff like that to make the learning process a lot easier so they can get as many players as possible. And in turn, that kind of makes the game a little more casual just by the way it is. And that can make some of the, better players feel like they're kind of they don't have that much room to grow, versus Dota, where it's the complete opposite. It is hell to get into Dota. I don't even know how I got into it, probably just because I had friends that were, holding my hand the entire way through. But it is miserable to learn how to play Dota. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But the appeal of that game is there's a lot more depth, and there's a higher skill ceiling, and there's more ways for you to improve and get better. So they're both completely catering to different audiences. But the thing is that's why people fought, because they're like, oh, Dota players are like, oh, your game's just for casuals, and then casuals will be like, oh, your game, you got turned speeds and stuff like that. That's all. No one wants that. That's just unnecessary. And the thing is it's great to have both of that, because a lot of people want to play MOBAs. That's clear by the popularity of games like League of Legends and Dota and stuff. And having something like League of Legends, which is good for kind of newer players, more casual players, and Dota for a lot more hardcore players, that's great. That is so good to have in the genre, because there's something for you. So if you want to get into a MOBA, rather than there just being one MOBA and you try it out and you don't like it and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to play a MOBA, you got multiple choices in the genre, and that's great. And then you have other things like Smite, and it introduced this whole other thing, and there was the third person, all the skill shots. It was for an entirely different audience. Obviously there's some overlap, especially because everybody loves MOBAs that are playing MOBAs, but it's a great thing to have. And then you have Heroes of the Storm, which is entirely different. It's a little bit more casual as well, but it's focused more on team fights and stuff like that, and you have the talents and everything like that, and everything is just catering to its own little audience. But I see so many people just arguing and yelling and screaming that their MOBA should be the only MOBA. Their MOBA is the one true MOBA, and I'll admit it, I'll put my hands up. I used to be like that when I was younger, when I was a kid. But I see a lot of people doing it that are like in their 30s and 40s, and they're like defending, you know, someone started talking about Here's the Storm like a couple weeks ago. I saw on the Dota subreddit, and I mean, he was just like trashing it and just like saying it's the worst game ever. We need to boycott Blizzard, and everyone's like, just play Dota. Like, you don't have to like fight try to, you know, compare yours against everybody else's. Obviously, it's a little different when, say, a game just completely tries to knock off your game, like all those stupid mobile MOBA games. But that's different. When you have things like Smite, Here's the Storm, League of Legends, and Dota 2, which cater to very different audiences, there can be overlap, but that doesn't mean there should only be the one true MOBA. And I'm in two kind of communities right now that I'm following that are starting to go through this, or have been going through this for a while. And the first is Artifact, the new Valve card game that I am super hyped about, that I've talked about before. And the huge thing there is it seems like everybody on the Artifact subreddit, obviously there's exceptions, but a lot of people are just bashing Hearthstone. And I mean, that's good to bash Hearthstone because it deserves it, honestly. But people are bashing it not because of like reasons like, oh, the meta constantly gets stale, it's too expensive, which is one of my biggest negatives about it, and all of these like points. They're just like, oh no, Artifact's just gonna be better, it's gonna be the better card game, I hope it kills Hearthstone. And then Hearthstone, if you go on the Hearthstone subreddit, anytime someone mentions Artifact, people are just slinging mud at Artifact as if there can only be one card game. And it's the same thing like League and Dota 2. Hearthstone is clearly the more casual card game, and it's more meant for casuals and new players, while Valve's Artifact, just like Valve's Dota 2, is going to be one that is a little bit more a lot more complex. It's going to be a lot harder to get into. It's going to be a lot harder to understand. It's going to have a way higher skill ceiling, and they're two completely different audiences. So a lot of the people that get super into Hearthstone might not even want to touch Artifact, and vice versa. So it's good to have diversity in that. And the other community that I'm super into is Black Ops 4. I've made a couple videos on that, and that's the Battle Royale mode. People played the Battle Royale beta, and it was really good. I mean, I've never heard that much just positive feedback about anything Call of Duty in ages. I mean, people like, you know, complimenting zombies a lot because it's kind of hard, especially for Treyarch, to mess up zombies, but I have never heard, I mean, the amount of people that were just gushing on the Blackout beta, their Battle Royale. And I mean, it's for good reason. It's amazing. But so many people are like, I hope this kills Fortnite. This really needs to kill Fortnite. It's like, but why though? There could be multiple games to exist, especially in the Battle Royale genre, where clearly that's the next big thing. Everybody is wanting to play a Battle Royale game. So you have a lot of people that are wanting to play Battle Royale games, obviously. It's a little different, say, for arena shooters. If you remember the Fall of Lawbreakers and everything like that. And if you're a fan of, you know, arena shooters like the old Unreal Tournaments or the old Quake games, and you've fallen in the same struggle like me, trying to find these kind of replacements, or be like, what's the modern arena shooter that everybody's playing? Not many people really want to play arena shooters, sadly. So there, in terms of that, it makes sense when people are like, no, this is the best arena shooter, we need to play this, because I mean, even if they got every single person that wanted to play an arena shooter in one game, it still wouldn't be enough people to have the game thrive, like, say, Overwatch or, you know, Fortnite or anything like that. So in terms of, like, that, I can kind of understand it, because you don't have a lot of overall players even wanting to play in that genre. But games like MOBAs, where there are millions and millions of people playing, or Battle Royale games or card games, there is no reason to, I mean, have the animosity and the belief that only one game can be in the genre. And I mean, I saw some people defending Fortnite, and they were saying, oh, I hope Blackout doesn't succeed because I want Fortnite to stay popular. I want Fortnite to still be the best Battle Royale game. And it's like, just let each game thrive, have a chance to thrive if it's good and it deserves it. And I know, you know, a single video, especially by, you know, some small YouTuber like me, isn't going to change it all. But, you know, if I change one person's mind and make them think, yeah, maybe I don't need to just completely just shit on this new game or this other game because I believe my game should be the only one, hey, I'll have done my job. But either way, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. If you guys have any personal experience about anything like this, or anything similar, let me know in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys, and if you guys enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. New videos come out every Wednesday and Sunday, and like always guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and see you guys next time.